What's going on, everybody? This is the Scotty P Breakdown Podcast, and I'm here with Raquel Clark.
What's up?
You are a shooting instructor. You're super into guns. You train jiu-jitsu with me, and you're also a very successful content creator.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. And it's funny, the day that you brought up that you were on a YouTube channel, I was like so excited to be like, oh yeah, well, how many followers do you have? And
Yeah.
I assume I had more, but then you definitely had way more than me. So I was like, dang it.
That's awesome.
It was kind of funny. I was like, I had it in my number ready to go, like almost like war, like 1, 2, 3, shoot. And you smoked me. But yeah, I'm glad to have you on the podcast today. I just kind of want to talk about, it's funny, your mindset. We've been training jiu-jitsu together, and your whole thing is self-defense, being able to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And I really feel like that's important, and it cracks me up. You know, since I've been on YouTube, I get a lot of comments about teaching women martial arts is a waste of time, and that whole like what do you call it, misogynistic culture, like women should just be in the kitchen and silly stuff like that.
Yeah, that's stupid. I feel like guys that say that, it's like maybe they're rapists or maybe they're guys that attack women, because why would you not want women to do that? You know, like.
Right.
The only reason would be is if you want to do that to women. You know?
Yeah. I had one guy tell me, he was like, I don't think women should do jiu-jitsu. That's more for men. And I was just like, I don't think any person should be weak, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I'm not going to say names, but people in my personal life, like family members, be like, why are you doing that? Like, you're a girl. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. And I'm like, well, I'm doing it because I'm a girl, you know? Like,
You're right.
I'm sure if I was a guy, I would still do it too, but I don't know, it's just fun. It's a good workout. It makes me feel empowered, like with guns. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so tell me, just for the audience, you want to give me like a little background of kind of just like what got you to where you're at right now?
Yeah, so my name is Raquel Clark, also known as American Gun Chick. I'm more known for American Gun Chick because I have a YouTube channel, I have Instagram, I have Facebook, and I'm pretty much just showing my growth from the very beginning. So I've been doing this for like 8 years. And then from the very beginning, I just started off making gun videos, like in my backyard, being goofy, didn't know anything, no training. Like, imagine the worst person to shoot a YouTube video. That was me in the beginning. Just in my backyard, plinking at stuff, missing everything. And then I had a guy named James Yeager. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a firearms trainer out of Tactical Response. He invited me out for like 9 days of training. So I did a whole thing of pistol training, medical training, some force on force, which is great. And then after that, I was just like, all right, this is awesome. I went from like sucking to being okay. And then I was like, all right, I need to keep training. So I kept coming back, taking classes, took like multiple tons and like all the classes they offer. And then went different places, trained with Craig Salman. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't know anybody.
He's a Navy SEAL, trained with Boone and Tonto from 13 Hours in Benghazi, those guys.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. They're cool. They're awesome. Trained with Rawson from Tactical Performance Center. Who else am I missing? A couple other people, but just kept training. And then over time, I was like, okay, I started to really care about the Second Amendment and understand why it's so important, you know? Because without the Second Amendment, we literally have no way to stop the government from screwing us in any way they want to. So I kept doing that. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I want to teach classes. So I created the Honey Badger program, and so that's what I do now.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's so much I want to talk about in just what you just told me, but yeah, the Second Amendment, the arguments against it are like so comical. Anyone that argues against it is like, you must not understand history.
Yeah.
You know, the Second Amendment is what led to the United States.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and all these people talk about like when Trump was in office, like, oh, he's evil and he's like the next Hitler. I'm like, so you want to give him your guns? Like the guy that you think's Hitler, you want to give him your guns?
Right.
Like
right.
that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I see all these places like Australia and Canada, and they're locking people up for misgendering people and for like comedians are saying jokes that are like sexist. And I mean, it's comedy. It's supposed to be racist and sexist and all these things, you know. But they're locking people up for literally words, not even actions, like literally just saying stuff. So I'm like, yeah, in this country, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, they can take anything from you, and there's not anything that you can do about it.
Exactly. And make you get jabbed, you know?
Yeah. And your shirt says, in case they can't see it,
come and make me with a needle.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I got a jiu-jitsu rash guard that says "Come and take it," and it's got a AR-15.
Oh, nice.
So I get a lot of comments on that one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So one more question I wanted to ask you. With your background, like, what's the force on force thing? That sounded really cool.
Have you heard of force on force?
No.
So basically, force on force, a lot of cops do this. Force on force is where you take, you're in like a room and they set up scenarios like you're walking to the gas station or you're going to the ATM or just doing everyday, going to your car in a parking garage, doing normal everyday stuff. And they give you guns, but they're not actual, the platform's an actual real gun, but they use sim rounds instead of actual rounds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the sim rounds are like an actual bullet, but instead of the tip being the actual bullet, it's like a little paint pellet.
Yep, I've used those.
So you do, so you know what that is. So you have that, the bad guy has that, set up scenarios, and sometimes you have to use your brain and your like thinking skills to get out of situations. It's not always a shoot situation, but sometimes you get in a gunfight, and it's the best way to train like real scenarios, you know, instead of just shooting paper at the range, you know,
right.
Because that's not scary. But if you're getting shot with those paint pellets, then it's scary. So you take it more serious.
Yeah,
because it does hurt.
I mean, man, that's really cool. No, so we train with those sim rounds for combat a lot, especially when you do like urban warfare training. I forget. It's like I can only remember the acronym, so it's called like Mount Town, and I forget what the Mount acronym stands for. But yeah, you go there and it's like a bunch of shipping containers and like wooden houses, and you suit up with everything, and then you get the paint rounds, and then it's you versus another team, and you try to, it's not really a team. They're not really working together, but they're simulating to be insurgents placed throughout, and you got to clear it. And then we also would do, so when I did the martial arts training, we would do what they called simulated scenario-based training.
Yeah, that's pretty much
right. So then, we would have our guns would be like plastic, but they put you in a scenario, and so instead of firing anything, you would just say firing to let them know that you're using the gun, and it was just so funny how many people would be so nervous that they would just start shooting the other person without any real reason, because they were just so like terrified of what's going on.
And that's why you train too, because there's a lot of situations where in these force on force classes where it's like, all right, you failed that and you're going to go to jail. In real life, you'd go to prison because of what you did. Because people do get nervous, and in real life, people just think, oh, I'm just going to buy a gun, carry it, and then if someone attacks me, I'll just pull my gun and shoot him. Yep. But you have to like put yourself under stress and adrenaline and understand like when you can pull your gun and when you can't. Right. Because there's some people, when they do CQB, they turn the corner and they draw their gun right away, and they're pointing their gun at like an innocent person. And if their finger's on the trigger and they're turning around and then they crack one off, now you just shot an innocent person, Right. So you have to train those things and know the firearm safety and all that stuff to be able to like handle that in the real world,
100%.
So.
Yeah, we would do one where someone is like trying to break into some type of building. So they're just like, they're wearing a hoodie, they got a screwdriver, and they're pretending to break into something. And then you're supposed to be the officer on duty. And so it means you're like in charge of the property, and you're just walking. So it's like a thing that we all cycle through that you have to do while you're in. And you have a pistol on you and you have a badge, and you're just supposed to make sure everything's okay. And so you show up and you have to address the situation. And the number of people that would just be like, give like one or two commands and then just be like, pull the gun out and start shooting. And it's like, whoa, relax, guys.
Right, exactly.
I'd rather you let him close a distance before you just start shooting someone in the back. Like,
exactly.
And then another thing too is like, also people imagine that they're just going to pull a gun out, but one of the things that we would test is like, how fast can I close a distance before you can even get to your gun?
Exactly. They call that the tooler drill too. Have you heard of that one? Where a guy has a knife, and they show this to like a lot of cops, like when they're training and stuff. A guy with a knife can close the distance if they're like, what is the feet, like 10 feet?
16 feet? I thought it was 16.
20 feet, 16, somewhere in between there. But basically, if he's to where that wall is to me and he has a knife, I can't draw my gun and shoot him. He can get to me before I can draw my gun and shoot him. Yep. I mean, if I'm really fast, I might get him. But most people, like most average people, they train a little bit, but not that much. That guy's going to close the distance and be on me, stabbing me before I can even draw my gun, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly that's the the data they would use to pull up for the reason why we did the drill.
Yeah.
And it's, you imagine that you could pull it fast enough, but when someone can get to a sprint, it's, the amount of distance that they can close is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's just like one of those things where, how it is in fighting where people just imagine scenarios and they think that that's how it'll be.
Yeah.
The funniest thing that people will say about, not training jiu-jitsu for self-defense is like, oh, if you go to the ground, you're going to get stomped out by all his friends. And it's like, I would never go to the ground. Yes, I understand that my sport in competition is mainly seen as being on the ground, but I will not go to the ground.
Yeah, that's never the goal.
Right, you will go to the ground. I will not.
Yeah.
I will be on your back. I'm going to pick you up and hit you with the ground on your top of your head.
Yeah.
And
that's true. I don't ever think, like, if you're in a fight, I don't think your goal would be that you want to be on the ground.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, but jiu-jitsu is good for if you do get to the ground and you're fighting someone, I mean, then you know what to do, but yeah, you never want to just drop on the ground like, all right, I'm ready.
Right, yeah. And it's so funny, like I'll get people that don't train and they'll ask me questions about certain positions. And like one of the common ones that really blew up and a lot of people asked me about was this dude like did an arm drag and jumped on his back and was strangling the guy. And there was like a good moment where he was like hanging in there. And one of the number one questions I got was, why didn't that guy just flip and land that dude on his back or something like that? Like, why didn't he just flip him over? All these like crazy, like, what if he did, well, why didn't he do this? What if he did that? And the reality is like, if you're standing up and you have another human on your back with their arms around your neck, it's a completely different experience. Like, there's no way that you can even understand what that's like. The amount of force and athleticism that you would have to leave the ground with someone else on your back is like the number of people that can flip with someone on their back is very minimal, let alone the normal person. Like, most people, if you jump on their back, they're just going to fall down. So it was like saying a lot that this dude was maintaining the standing position and fighting this choke. But yeah, everyone's like, oh, I would just like jump backwards and land him on his back or something. And it's like,
that's what they say. Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face, right?
Yeah. Or my arms are around your neck.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. One time I grappled this buddy and he like was drinking and he's like, I want to see what this jiu-jitsu is all about.
That's funny. Like, people always want to test jiu-jitsu,
Yeah, they do. And I was like, all right. And I was really like trying to watch a movie and chill. And it was like cold outside. And I'm like, all right, dude. He's like, come on, just show me. So I go out there and literally as soon as he put his hand up, I just arm dragged him and I had my arms around his throat. And it was funny how many seconds it took for him to even register like what had happened. He was just like there, like frozen. And it was just like, as soon as he like realized where he was at, and he was like freaking out, just like let him go. And I was like, sorry, buddy. It's like,
you got to see.
Yeah. People can't even imagine the speed.
Yeah.
It's like, they can't imagine what it's like to train against people who are working hard every single day to be as fast as possible. And I'm training with those people. So
yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
I'm moving in a different dimension.
Yeah.
And I've met people who move so much faster than me. And I've been training for 10, 12 years. And I had a competition with a guy, his name's Luke Griffith. He just won another crazy matchup. He literally almost teleported to my back.
Yeah,
like,
that's awesome.
So it's just like the levels to this game are just unreal.
Yeah. That's why you got the different belts, depending where you're at.
Yeah, well, this guy, he's the same belt as me, which makes it even funnier.
Oh. Is he smaller? Sometimes when people are smaller, I feel like they're easier to get around quickly.
No, he's actually way bigger than me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, he's a freak though. So it's not like this is a normal human. This dude is the cream of the crop competitors. But no, when I was grappling against him, it literally felt like I was in molasses, and he was just like, just like, Jesus. He pulled guard, and like I went to half, and as soon as I went to set up my top game, he did what they call I want to call it like kiss of the dragon. He essentially just like inverted, went underneath me, and then I took the bottom position. He got on top, and as soon as I shoved him, he literally just like slightly moved out of the way, jumped across to my back, and then had me in a rear naked choke. And he didn't even get my throat. He literally just puts it over your face and then just squeezes. And
like the one you showed us?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there wasn't even a choke. I was breathing fine through my nose, but my teeth started to crack. Like I felt the pressure of his arms and my teeth.
Really? Do you think if you would have kept going and you didn't tap, your teeth would have?
Oh, for sure.
Like all popped out or something?
Yeah, it would have caved them all in or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of strength though, because your teeth, like, think about your teeth, like how hard you have to pull to like rip them out, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
I wish I was that strong.
Right, right. I wish I had that kind of squeeze for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a funny thing how the brain will imagine scenarios, but it's usually very different from.
That's true. And it's the same thing with firearms too, because I've had some people where I'm like, come train with me. Let's go train. They're like, I don't need any training. Like, I own a gun. I got my concealed carry permit. I took the class. I'm like, that doesn't really teach you anything except for the laws, But like, you need to have that training because, like you said, that one guy, he in force on force or something, he pulled the gun and everyone would shoot right away.
Right.
That tends to happen in force on force too, where people, they just get excited, they draw their gun, but you have to like actually, like in my class that I teach, we do a classroom part in the beginning because you have to learn like what are the things that means, what are the like 3 things that gives you the right to shoot someone? Like you have to be in fear of your life. They have to have ability, opportunity, and intent. If they don't have those 3 things, then you can't shoot them, Like you have to be in fear of your life. Like no other choice. This person was going to kill me. So a lot of times, like that stuff is good to learn, like all the training and stuff, just so you don't end up in jail too. So you can save yourself and you don't end up in jail. That's how I see it. So.
Right. Yeah, that was a constant thing that we would bring up in training is like.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong and something happens, you will be tried by a jury of your peers.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a huge responsibility in having a weapon.
Yeah. If anyone wants to sign up for classes, honeybadgerusa.com.
Is it for chicks only or females or?
No, it's for guys and girls. We've had guys in our class, but I did like promote it towards women in the beginning, and I still kind of promote it towards women because I'm a female, so I feel like a lot of females would want to come take a class from a girl. Some guys, they have this like ego and pride where they're like, I'm not going to go get trained by some little girl,
Yeah.
Like to them, that's kind of embarrassing is how I feel like their mindset is.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just promoted it towards women, but no, anyone can take it.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I saw your honey badger thing. It's really cool.
So, yeah.
And so like when you guys train on the range and stuff, do they have y'all do like workouts and stuff like that too to get your heart rate up?
Like when I take classes or the classes that I teach?
The classes that you've taken.
Oh, that I've taken? There's been some classes, yeah, where they made us do like push-ups and do like, lifting weights and then have to run and then shoot.
Yeah.
But mostly the classes that I've taken, like the rifle ones, it's just like running from barrel to barrel. They call it the leapfrog drill, where you have to run from barrel to barrel while you're shooting in groups of 2, like with your teammate. And your heart rate's already up just from running and just from carrying around your rifle.
Mm-hmm. Dang.
So.
Yeah, and I've also seen like training too where you have to shoot and then people like will push you slightly, like just to mess with your aim.
Yeah, there's some classes I've taken, some of the advanced classes where you'll be shooting and they'll be messing with you, like they'll throw water on you or they'll like throw rocks at you to try to distract you. Because if you're like in the mall and there's a mass shooter and you're shooting, there's going to be chaos, people flying by you. There's going to be a lot of distractions. So it's good to give you those distractions while you're shooting.
Yeah, I've been working with you for probably like a month or 2 now. I have no idea what. 2
probably
months?
Since like October, I think. So sometime around October.
Nice. And it cracks me up because, you're the number one questions you always ask, like, you're always asking, like, over this work against, an actual opponent or, like, you're always trying to get, like, that self-defense aspect.
Yeah, like, would this work against, like, a guy that's, bigger than me?
Right. And that always cracks me up. But, and then, we kind of both vibe on the same idea of, like, so I've kind of came up through martial arts being known as like a jiu-jitsu specialist. But before I really started to be on Instagram a lot and really started to put my name out there, I did MMA. I was in the Marine Corps and we did a lot of combatives training. Like one of my favorite, to this day, I never lost a weapons free sparring event. The only time I lost was to one instructor. And
when you say that, you mean like grappling type stuff?
It's each person gets a simulated weapon. So we have knives, we have weapons of opportunity, which is like a baton, but it could simulate anything that you could pick up. And then we have bayonet, we have what knife, baton, bayonet. I felt like there was one more weapon. And then you pick between those and then they put you, like there's a bunch of different scenarios where we've done it, whether it's in a gym, but one of my favorite ones, we were like, I don't know what you call it, but it was like this spot in the middle that had like bushes that were really tall. So you can't see on the other side. And there's like a trail that meets in the middle. And we had 2 teams on each side. And you pick a weapon and they're picking a weapon. And then you hit go. And then you sprint to the middle. And it's like.
And you fight?
And you fight.
Like the Hunger Games kind of?
Almost cool. Exactly like the Hunger Games. And yeah, it was super
that sounds fun.
It was fun. And I always had a lot of success with the weapons. One of my favorite things to do is pick 2 knives. I felt like the knife was always the better weapon. Yes, you do get like distance with the bayonet, but if you don't get a killing shot in the very first strike with a bayonet and I close a distance, anytime I can close a distance with a blade, I can attack you at any moment. Right. Yeah. So like if I can trap you, I can stab you in the back. But with a baton, you need like, it can only slash, right? So you can't, it's pretty much useless if in super close distance. And the same thing with the bayonet. If I can make you miss the first time, it's over after that. Once I get past that initial range. And so I would always pick 2, and I would always throw the first one. Like just get them to think, just for a half second. I would literally just throw it, miss it. I didn't even have to hit them with it.
That's what they're OODA loop.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, OODA loop.
OODA loop. That cracks me up. I swear I've heard Marines say that to me before.
Yeah, they say that a lot in training where I started training at, where they're like, throw off their OODA loop. If someone's like, give me your money, and you're like, do helicopters eat their young? And they're like, what? And then you can draw your gun and shoot them. Like, you kind of like throw them off,
Yeah. That cracks me up. Throw off their OODA loop. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just literally underhand it. Sometimes I would throw it. I started underhanding it because I realized that it's really hard to be moving fast and throw like this. So what I started to do is I just started to underhand it, and I would just like run as fast as I can, just get him in the neck every time.
Yeah.
And so that was always fun. The only time I got beat was someone caught me completely off guard. I went to jump at him, and they just did double. And this is a high-level MMA fighter, so it makes sense why he beat me. But yeah, I went to a lunge at him, and he did double overhooks, and he just started headbutting me.
Oh,
and I didn't even know that was legit. Yeah. Well, we had helmets on, but not nice helmets. It was like helmets that have been around for like 20 years, and all the padding's missing. So this plastic helmet is literally like rattling on my head, and he's just viciously, and I tell you, I was literally just like collapsed. And it was so funny. I was like, I didn't even know that was possible. The dude like woke me up to a whole nother level of violence. And I was just like, hey.
That's what they say. They say that like, if you get attacked violently, you have to over counter their violence. Like your violence has to be higher and bigger.
Yes.
So you have to be really violent.
Yes, that's actually one of the main things that we teach Marines, especially the lower level ones, because I can only get them for a certain amount of time. Like how, in the Marine Corps, it's just like anything. Like I'm sure it's the same thing in the police force or the fire academy. It's martial arts is kind of frowned upon because it can hurt individuals, which causes paperwork, and it's often not the main mission of the battalion, right? So, the battalion's got all these missions it has to do. The last thing that the people up top making the plans worry about is the martial arts, right? To them, it's like something that the grunt heads or the enlisted want to worry about, guys like me. Because you have to imagine like there's officers and they go to college, and so they're like the big wigs that make all the plans on paper. So they tend to frown on it. And so the main point I'm making is I don't get a lot of time with them. So I can't really teach them a technique. There is no technique that I can show you that's going to help you. It's, unless you're training like all the time consistently, there's no one thing I can show you that's going to help you.
Yeah.
The main thing that I can teach them is, when in doubt, increase the intensity. So whatever someone pushes you with, you have to like floor it, make it way worse. And there's so many times and so many like anecdotes that we used to kind of like showcase that. One of my favorites is, I want to say it was Helson Gracie. It's one of the Gracies, but essentially they got jumped in New York by multiple people, and he ends up grabbing one of the dudes, twists him down to the ground, and bit his cheek off. And everyone literally just scrambled.
I think you told me about that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I told you that one for sure.
And that's crazy. I mean, because could you imagine that? Like,
hell no.
I wouldn't want to do that. But
someone ripped my cheek off.
I mean, I wouldn't want to do that to someone, but if it came down to it where I had no choice, I would do anything,
Yeah, if people are about to stomp you out, you got to figure out something to do. And that's another thing so I've taught many women. So I would do classes for the Marines' wives, to get them to understand like what the Marines go through. I've done kids classes. And, one of the major things is like, people will try to teach women to like stomp on the foot or kick to the nuts. If you kick me in the nuts, I'm only going to get more angry. Like, if someone kicked me in the nuts, I'm ramming their head to the nearest wall.
Yeah.
Like, no kick to the nuts is going to get me to stop what I'm doing if I'm that angry.
Yeah.
Or taking something to that level, right? Like if I'm trying to cause harm to somebody, no kick in the nuts is going to stop me.
Yeah.
And so it's just a silly thing to teach women. So what you want to teach them is like, if someone is threatening to harm you, you must do something more immediately dangerous to them that they must stop what they're doing. So that means thumbs in the eyeballs. That means jabbing the throat. It means like ear cupping the ears. Yeah, you take your two hands and you make cups and you slam someone's ears as hard as you can. They're done. Like no human can take that. You'll blow both their eardrums out, and it's like just one is enough.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's good to know.
If you want to test yourself, literally just do that and you'll be like, oh shit.
I don't know if I want to try that, but.
Yeah, no, don't. I'm telling you, it doesn't feel good.
Maybe someone will attack me, I can try it.
Yeah. But yeah, just one is enough to really disorient someone. You take both at the same time and hit their ears, they're done. Or at least, if they're like really big, at bare minimum, they're going to have to loosen their grip on you. They're going to be affected somehow.
Especially if you're poking their eye. Like if someone's choking you against the wall and you jam your finger into their eye, they're going to have to stop unless they're just cool with losing their eyes. Like,
Yes. 100%. So, and don't use your index, use your thumbs. You make a
Why
hook.
is that?
Your thumb is way stronger than your index finger.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I just thought because this one's longer, it can go in further.
You want to go straight here, and you want to fucking grab them and jam your thumbs in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might, like, again, if someone is threatening your life, you have to think, what can I do that is way more harmful? Like if they're choking you, that is harmful, but you got time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not like they're shooting you or they're stabbing you. You got a couple moments, right? And there is no time if someone jabs their thumb in your eye. It's like whatever, your body will just take over their whole system and immediately reach for their own face.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like choking, you could still think and choke.
And that's why, I'm so big on firearms, and especially if anyone's going to carry firearms, women should 100%, because just think like how many guys, just like I probably pass going about my day, walking in here, walking to my car, going to the grocery store. I travel a lot, stuff like that. Now, if any guy wants to come attack me and beat me up with his hands, he probably could. I mean, he could, like I'm not one of those feminists that's like men and women are equal. Like obviously I know men are stronger, women are weaker. But if I have a gun, now we're equal. Well, if he doesn't have a gun and I have a gun, I'm way higher than him. Like I can stop him instantly. If he has a gun, we're equal. I'm probably higher than him because I've had more training than him if he's just some random asshole.
Right.
But that's why like guns are like so important, because now it's a great equalizer. Yeah.
Can't be bossed around if you got a weapon on you.
Yeah. Like some guy thinks hey, little lady, give me your purse. I'll be like, all right.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I was just giving my purse and roll on, Material things are not worth, getting in a gunfight over.
Right. 100%. Yeah, and even if they had a gun, you'd still be higher because you're going to be able to take. If they don't have any training, they're not storing that weapon in a way that's going to make any sense for them. Unless he's pull it out and draw it.
Unless he's like a Navy SEAL that's had a bunch of training that I don't know about, then I might be screwed. But I've had a lot of training too, so it might be equal still. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I highly doubt we have to worry about Navy SEALs mugging. Women, though, so that's
just be
good.
some random gangbanger probably.
Yeah. Just that idea of like the people that are training aren't the ones that you have to worry about, because the people that are training are most often good people.
Yeah,
that's the same thing that's true with martial arts. Everyone wants to believe that, they don't want the bullies to train martial arts. But if you train martial arts, you won't be a bully.
Yeah.
It's just how it happens. It's because it teaches you respect, teaches you discipline, teaches you control. And so, it's just this idea that like, oh, you don't want to teach the big mean kid in martial arts. And it's like, no, yes, you do. That's how you get that's how they get an outlet. The reason they're being mean is because they don't have an outlet.
Yeah, exactly. And they tend to be cowards. People that do pick on other people and people that do rob people, like gangbangers, they want your purse, this and that. They're cowards. Anytime there's anybody that shows resistance or is trying to put up a fight, those people are out. Like they're not looking for a fight. Bullies and people that rob people and just bad people, they're cowards. So
yeah, and I told you this story before. I'll say it again just so the audience can hear it. Another example that we would use, especially when teaching women and kids and people of the like, is the Boston Strangler. After he was caught, and he talked about what he would do and how he would do it, and the people he would choose to go after were the women who would try to pacify him with words, please don't hurt me. Okay, I'll do this, but just let me go, please.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. To him, that was the easiest because he would just never listen. Like he would just be like, okay, yeah, all right, and then have his way with him. But the ones who put up a fight, it just wasn't worth it. So he would just leave those alone, and then find the ones that would just try to like talk their way out of it.
Right. Exactly. Like they don't want a fight. Right. Or like Ted Bundy, he would just go for girls that are just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, that are like trying to comply and just kind of weak. It's the same thing. So yeah.
I can't remember. I think it was you that told me the other day, right? It's like just being hard to kill. Being hard to kill. It like can do so much for you.
Yeah.
That's like one of the main things they taught us is like, just don't be a complacent target. You don't have to be, 007 and, be aware of every single trap. It's like, just be more difficult than the next target. And that's how you survive. And
a lot of it is how you carry yourself too. Like there's a lot of women out there that I just think actually in general, being a woman, some guys might be like, oh, like that's an easy target because it's a woman. So I'm going to prey on the weak. But if you carry yourself like somebody that's not weak and with more confidence, then people can also kind of sense that and be like, maybe not her, I'll just go for the other one, the next one, the old lady over there, So even if you don't have all the skills and all that stuff, if you just fake it till you make it, that can help a lot too.
Right. 100%. You got to have some exposure to it to even know that, it's like.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you got to kind of, now we're thinking too deep, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with you. Fake it till you make it, right? That's a true thing for almost everything. But
what I mean by that is using a lot of like that situational awareness.
Yes.
Like you'll see some people walking in their car in a parking garage. Yeah, and they're like looking down at their phone.
100%.
Or they're, you can just tell they just look sloppy kind of. And then there's some people that are walking in their car. Like whenever I walk to my car, I try to keep my head up and I'm like looking around. And if I pass someone, I make eye contact, like looking right at them. And usually like because we've all had this happen as women, we're walking to a car, some guy's like, hey, what's up? I'll turn around, I'm like, hey, can I help you? And he's like, oh no, I'm good. I've actually had that happen where some guy's like trying to follow me to my car. I'm like, yeah, can I help you? And then he's like, oh, I'm okay, never mind, and just walked away. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna put my head down and then be getting in my car and get smacked from the side,
Yeah, a lot of people don't think that this type of stuff happens. But literally yesterday, as I was leaving here, someone snuck up from behind the car. And then as I was like shutting the door, asked me for money. Like, and this is like, it's like super dark. And he's just like walking around and literally like, I saw him. And
was it the same guy that came in here with the ankle monitor?
No, but no, it was someone else. Yeah. And they were walking and I saw him a while ago and I was just like keeping my eye on him, and I had someone in the car with me. I'm like, hey, there's someone behind us. And I just watched him. And as I was like slowly shut my door, then he asked me for money. And I was like, my girl who was with me was upset. She was like, no, we don't have any money. And I was like, sorry, buddy, I don't have any cash. And she was just upset. She's like, I hate it when people sneak up on us like that. It's just a thing that happens. And to the purse thing, I literally had to help a lady the other day. I think it was like last month or something. Some lady got her purse robbed in the middle of daylight in the Kroger's parking lot. Blue dude snatched.
Really?
He came.
Like the movies? Like he came running and just grabbed it and kept running?
No, well, he actually had a drive-away car. So.
Oh, okay.
I was getting out of my car and I had headphones on and I'm like zoned out. I'm just like, I gotta go grab fruit, whatever from Kroger's. And I literally just hear like someone screaming bloody murder. And like, I'm telling you, I'm like tired. I think I smoked a little bit. So I'm kind of like barely awake. And then instantly my heart rate and my fucking eyes get big and I take off my headphones and I run over there and she's like crying. And she said that they came from the passenger side where her baby was at. She had just put her baby in and they reached in to grab it and she had a tug of war match with someone. I only saw them jump in the car and race off.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and then on top one, that is, this lady completely broke down, it's just like, and that's like one of the things that you have to train for, right? It's like, you wouldn't break down and cry. You know, I feel like you'd have your wherewithal without you.
Pepper spray him.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can't see, this is where it comes into like, well, not everything's a shoot situation,
Right.
Because you can't shoot someone over material things. Like that's,
Right.
You're never shooting to save stuff. You're shooting to save a life. But pepper spray in that situation totally would have worked, you know?
Yeah. But, well, I wonder too, though, is because she had her baby in the car and he was like reaching in the car with her baby in the passenger seat.
I would have killed him.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, then it changes.
Yeah.
Pepper spray, not so good.
Was he like trying to grab the baby or the purse?
Yeah, well, I think from what I gathered is like she had put the baby in, came into the driver's side, and then he reached in and like tried to grab it off her shoulder inside the car. And then she was inside the car, and then he was pulling it with the baby in like in the middle of the passenger seat.
Oh,
while he's like ripping it out of the car.
Yeah.
And so, just like you're saying, they picked her for a reason. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't a random. They're like, okay, this lady has a baby. There's no way she's going to be able to fight us at all. You know?
That also adds some like, that's kind of hard too, because I think about that too, because I have a son. He's going to be 2 soon. And it's my only kid. So before him, like I would just get in my car, go about life. It was so easy just to go places, do things. But now it's like, I'm a new mom, so I'm like learning. I always think about that. Like I put him in the car. I'm like, what if somebody like jumped in the car and like pointed a gun at me and said, get out of the car. I'd be like, I'm not getting out of the car without him. Like, you're going to have to kill me. There's no way. So I always think about that. Like they should have force on force classes where you have your baby with you so you can figure out what you're going to do, because you got to have a game plan, you know? But when it comes to like your baby as a mom, you're like, no, I'll kill every single person that tries to like do anything that could hurt or harm this baby. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
well, there you go. You figured out a good class for your ladies.
Yeah, well, we do force on force classes, and we do cater a lot of the scenarios to women, and like things that, because there's scenarios that can happen to women that won't happen to men. It's just different things, you know.
Right.
So some of them in the future will be stuff like that, where you have your baby, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
But situational awareness, this is where it's very important. Have you heard of the Cooper color codes?
Mm-mm.
Jeff Cooper, he made a book, and he has like these color codes. You have white, yellow, orange.
We have those. Yeah.
Oh, you have that?
We just don't call it that, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those. So you know all about that, like being situational aware.
You're supposed to be we're never supposed to drop below a yellow.
Yeah, like the only time you're in white is when you're like at your house.
Right.
Because you're at your house, you're like safe, you know. But anytime you're going about like the public places and stuff, you should always be in yellow.
Right.
At least yellow, you know.
Yes. Yeah, and then so they have that for what you're supposed to be at, and then sometimes the base even goes higher than that. So if like their base can be an orange or red.
Yeah, red is like you're in danger and you're fighting, you know, like.
Yep. So it'll go in red sometimes if there's like, I've been on base and there was a standoff in one of the buildings nearby.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we go through, you have to know the colors so that they can just tell you so you know exactly what alertness you need to be.
Yeah.
They might have called it the Cooper stand. I just don't remember the name of it, but we definitely had those.
Yeah. And then they have black. Black is like where you're in white and like that lady probably, and you get attacked. Like, let's say you're looking at your phone and somebody smacked you in the back of the head, and then you turn around and like where you went from basically white past red to black, where you're like freaking out. That's where you have like that fight or flight, where most people, if they don't train, they'll just panic and freak out, and they won't be able to use their brain correctly, and they don't know what to do because they didn't see that danger coming. Like if you can see the danger coming, you can kind of prep for it, you know? But if you can't prep for it, you're screwed kind of.
Most people just freeze. Most people just don't do anything. They just like, it's almost as if their consciousness leaves their body.
I've seen that actually in a lot of movies and stuff where something bad will happen and people just like sit there and they're like, why'd you not do anything, you know? Yeah,
well, that's one of the stories of a Marine. Do you remember when there was a shooting at a club in Florida?
Was it the Pulse nightclub?
It was the gay one?
Yeah, Pulse.
Yeah. Well, there's a Marine who saved a lot of lives there. And one of the things that happened, I can't remember if he was there or if he was one of the security guards there, but essentially people were pushing on the door that was supposed to pull, and he had to throw people out of the way to open the doors, and that there were people there that weren't moving, that they were just like frozen. He was like, you need to get out of here. And he was like throwing people out of the door, like waking them up.
Exactly. Because you get so freaked out, you're like, your body
just shuts
Just
down.
shuts down. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, and it happens even in small cases. I remember, like, there are so many times I'm sure that if you think on it, if the people think on it, you'll realize that you've seen something like this. But I remember, like, growing up, that, you know, one of the football players, like, was just so mad at one of the young freshmen, he literally just grabbed him and started punching him in the face, and everyone just stood and watched. And it was like, you know, they addressed it afterwards, but I just remember in the moment, everyone was kind of just like, wait, what is happening? Like, is this really like, you know, and that's kind of what most people go through, is like, wait, what is happening? Is this really happening? And then it's just like, you don't even realize that time is passing by, and that you could take action.
That's true. Cause like, when they had that shooting, the Route 93 or something, the one in Vegas where they had, Jason Aldean.
Yep.
I think a lot of people, like, when they started shooting, a lot of people thought it was just like fireworks or it was part of the show or something. Cause when stuff like that happens, yeah, you're right. Your brain's like, there's no way this is happening. Like, this is not happening. And then by the time it is happening and it's almost done, you're like, oh crap.
Yep.
I didn't do anything, you know?
Yeah. And so what I found is just that it just takes training, you know, and there's even like psychological studies that are done where, like, doctors can show you that they can set up the situation to get you to act in a certain way. And it's almost always, you know, again, it's the people who are in the white that they can push a certain way. Like, everyone thinks that they see something wrong, that they're going to be the ones to do something. Yeah. But if you actually don't practice that every day in your life, or, you know, just like, it's like a mindset that you have, then you actually won't do anything. Yeah. You know, it's like that, like, they'll do things where there's a woman that's obviously drunk trying to get into a car and drive, or a man, or a woman with kids. They've done it multiple ways and see how people react. And most people are just kind of like looking around like, wait, is this happening? And they just go about their day. But it's like, if you ask them, would they do something if they saw a drunk person with kids getting in the car? They'd be like, oh no, I would definitely stop them. I would take their keys. Yeah. You know, but it's not actually what would happen. The social pressures, you know, things like that. Or they've done, you know, studies where, like, you know, they can play a bell, and then every time a bell's played, people stand up, and then they sit back down. And then after a while, the people that don't know what's going on, they'll just start doing it too. They'll just like looking around like, okay. Yeah,
because it's like the social norm.
Yes.
A lot of people are sheep, you know. Sorry to say that, but, you know, and maybe I can be a sheep sometimes. I don't really know, but most people are sheep, where they kind of just go with the norm, and whatever's socially acceptable, they just kind of do. And I've kind of learned people are kind of mindless after a lot of things that's happened, you know.
Yeah, 100%. And then, so back to the idea of, like, people don't believe these things happen. It's like, me and you both follow Tim Kennedy, and, you know, Tim's one of the most dialed in people that I've ever met. So I've met him multiple times. I used to compete at Ranger Up. He would do these Ranger Up competitions, and I'll compete at those, and I'd see him there a lot. He's only right down the road in Austin, and well-read, super smart, accomplished. The amount of things that he's accomplished, most humans wouldn't even do one of those things, right? Top UFC fighter, Delta Force, special operations, CEO of multiple businesses. I mean, he has businesses that are like so mind-blowing, it doesn't even make sense. Like, he opened up his own school for kids because he thinks that the school system isn't teaching kids right, which he's 100% right on. And he's just got this whole idea of, like, things are only going to get worse. Like, we're in a bad state right now. We don't even know it. And then if people aren't taking action in their lives, and they're not paying attention, that this is only going to get worse. And it's like, that's the number one thing that I felt when that Kroger's thing happened. It's like, dude, they're jacking moms in the middle of daylight at Kroger's. Like, this is insane. This is literally in a really nice neighborhood at the Heights. Like, the Heights is, people go to this Kroger's because it's supposed to be safe. Yeah. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just like, you know, it's a crazy world that we live in. And this isn't the time to just be like, oh, everything will be all right.
Yeah, of course not. And, like, you are responsible for yourselves. Like, a lot of people just think, oh, if something bad happened to me, I'll just call 911. That's what the cops are for. Well, the cops got families to go home to too. And the cops want to live too. And we've seen, like, with some of the shooting that happened, I think like Parkland or whatever, one of the cops was like, they were supposed to go in, and they were like, yeah, we're not going in. They didn't go in. And the mass shooter was in there shooting people, killing kids. So it's like, at the end of the day, you really are responsible for yourself and for your kids. So if that's not a sign to, like, for every person, man or woman, especially women with children going to the grocery store, to carry a gun, they should carry a gun, you know?
100%. I'm going to take 1 second to see where we're at on time.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Make sure we're not running over.
I blap too much.
No, that's me. I'm doing all the talking. We're doing great. Okay, so we're at 45 minutes. I think I'll just ask one more question and we'll wrap up. I want to make sure. Do you have the time? Do you have the time, buddy? 7:40. Oh, dang, we're already at. So I'm gonna ask you one more question and
7:40.
we'll wrap up.
Oh, I was like, I guess we're the only ones here for the class.
Yep. Okay. So obviously you believe that women should have guns. Women should probably train. We talked about that. How your goal is to be good from every distance, right? You're not in jiu-jitsu to butt scoot. You're in jiu-jitsu to make sure you can take care of yourself, which is cool. But let's say there's someone out there listening to this, female or guy, and they want to take more action on their lives. Like, well, what would you recommend that they do to start?
Literally just go to the range, go sign up for a class in jiu-jitsu. The biggest thing I would say is go to the range and just try out some different guns. Like people are going to be really nice. Like when I first started and I didn't have any guns, I would just go to the range and talk to people and people would let me try out different, most ranges have rental guns where you can try out a bunch of different stuff. Go get a gun and then go get some training, Just get some training, just do it. I mean, everything is a little bit uncomfortable at first. Like the first class I ever took, firearm class, I was the only girl in the class. And it was like a big step. It was a huge jump because it was 9 days of classes where I was the only girl and it was just a bunch of guys. But I literally don't care because I'm like, my life is more important than caring what anybody thinks, And then coming here, like I've done jiu-jitsu before down in Florida. I did it for like 3 months or something. But every time you go to a new gym, you're like, well, what am I going to step into? Is there going to be a bunch of big muscular guys that's like, what are you doing here? But I don't really care. I just do it, Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Good advice. On the whole, people are generally pretty nice. I got so many buddies that are willing to like go shooting. It's like if you go out there to the ranges, you're undoubtedly will make friends and people will invite you to shoot. Like it's kind of like a bonding thing almost. Shooting with other people. It ends up being a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you go to a range and you're like, hey, I don't know where to start, but I really want to own a gun and do all these things, they'll help you. I mean, you have to test them all out first because the range will tell you like, oh, buy this one, and then they'll give you the wrong one. So, rent out all their guns, try them out, and then go to my website, honeybadgerusa.com, and sign up for a class.
Heck yeah.
We got a force on force class coming up actually January 15th.
Sweet.
So, anybody
awesome.
and everybody should take the class.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Well, Brickell, we're running out of time. We got jiu-jitsu to do. We're actually at Underworld Jiu-Jitsu now. And if you're in the area, you should definitely come check us out. And but I really appreciate you having you on, Brickell. Thank you so much. And tomorrow I'm shooting with Katie. So Katie is a mutual friend of both of ours who does weapons training with you, does jiu-jitsu with me. Also,
she's awesome. She calls me her gun sensei.
Which is cool. And she's also a content creator like us. So I'm going to have her on tomorrow, but I'd love to circle back in a couple of months and have you both on at the same time.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
She's really good on the mic too. So that'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll catch you around. Brickell, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate you guys. Sweet.